I think at some point, if you're Kyler Murray, you just need to take a back seat.
Oh,
I mean, really, man, you're making a lot of money, and future Hall of Famer calls you out. You should just be like, who cares? But that's not what Kyler Murray did. We're talking about the controversy between Kyler Murray and Patrick Peterson. Pretty much everybody's seen this by now. Um, Patrick Peterson called out Kyler Murray on his podcast, All Things Covered, and direct quote from PatPete: Kyler Murray don't care about nobody but Kyler Murray. And yeah, I mean, Kyler Murray didn't really appreciate that, but I just gotta say, come on, Kyler, what are you doing?
hold up. Are you taking Patrick Peterson's side on this?
100% I am.
What?
Yeah.
Hold up. Okay. I'm taking Kyler Murray's side 100% of the way on this. And it has nothing to do with Pat Pete whatsoever in this conversation. It's all against the coaching staff in his comments. Okay? He called out his coaching staff because he believed the entire team was schematically screwed. They couldn't do anything on the offense. He's calling out their coaches, and we all know that coaching staff on the Cardinals does that entire organization no favor on game day. We can all agree to that.
Yeah, Braden and I were discussing we're on Kyler's side.
Like
I
like
mean-
Connor, I hold on. I'm sorry,
Yeah, go
Riley.
ahead.
I understand, Connor. Like comments like that can screw up an entire locker room, but like at this point, you have to make those comments. Like Cliff was extended, and like you need to say those words to get some noise in the front office to get Cliff out of there because he's not the answer.
Well, I think there's better ways to go about doing that. Like, you can say it behind closed doors. You don't need to say it like to the media and stuff where everybody can hear. I mean, if you really want to create a ruckus, you can easily talk about it within the front office. I mean, you don't need to go out there and tell every single person your feelings because, as we've seen with like Zach Wilson and everything, the second you step in front of the media, everything you say gets blown up and everybody's talking about you the next day on ESPN.
But he's not the only one. Like Zach Wilson, he was asked, "Do you feel like you were at any fault in today's loss?" And he said, "No." Which that was the wrong answer to say. Any football player should know that's the wrong answer to say. Kyler Murray's Kyler Murray's comments are backed up by every single one of his teammates. Like I guarantee you, 75% of his teammates had the same thoughts as him.
Yeah, I'm sure. The thing is where I'm at is I honestly don't think it matters. I think Cliff is gone after this year, anyways.
Okay.
But the thing is so Kyler Murray signs that contract. These issues were going on beforehand. So, I mean, they had to have, right? So, first
Yep.
of all, why did Kyler Murray sign the extension? And why does the front office, the ownership, go ahead and sign their brain trust in Cliff Kingsbury to an extension? Because, we've saw last year they melted down, and before that they weren't very good. Like, it's not like this is Kyle Shanahan, and then all of a sudden he's just not good for a year.
They
This is
wish
an issue long term.
that front office is horrible. It's horrible. I mean, you drafted Josh Rosen in the first round and immediately got rid of him. Next year, you draft another first round quarterback in the top 5 picks. And you finally land a gold mine in the number 1 pick in Kyler Murray. Congratulations, your franchise is saved. Not, you drafted an idiot coach. Okay, I shouldn't say idiot, but I wouldn't say he's head coach, or I wouldn't say head coach material for this league.
Cliff seems like a cool cat and everything, but
Mhm.
he's just he's not a good head coach. I mean, we even saw it at Texas Tech. He worked with Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
Patrick Mahomes, and Patrick Mahomes couldn't even save him. I just think overall the Cardinals have done a really, really bad job of building around Kyler Murray. Sure, they went out and got DeAndre Hopkins. Good for you. other than that, name like one other thing that they've done that's actually improved the team for Kyler Murray. They haven't really got superstars around them. They've done a bad job of drafting, in my opinion, and this is just an issue where they need to find a change at the GM and the head coach.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I think they're just not really good at re-signing the players or keeping them.
Definitely.
They went and got Marquise Brown, who they kind of overpaid for him, but my gosh, he
Oh gosh.
exploded. He
Yeah.
exploded in that offense. And
Yeah.
then
He
they got James Conner too.
like I can't believe like how much they paid for him. Like I know here he was the Ravens' #1 wide receiver, but he's certainly playing like a first round pick
Yeah.
for the Cardinals.
So let Chandler Jones and Jordan Hicks walk. I just think it's a problem of re-signing. Obviously, Cliff is a big issue, but
I mean, just imagine if they had Chandler Jones right now.
yeah,
What if they had PatPete? They could use all that help, and I think they'd be a very good team. I mean, maybe not, but players do make a difference. And honestly, when I look at that defensive side, even the offensive side on that Cardinals team, I don't see them as a threat.
yeah,
Here's an issue that I have though, going back to like the team building things. So you know, they get Kyler Murray in 2018 first overall, right? So then 2019 and 2020, what do? They draft not running backs, they draft linebackers in the first round, Isaiah Simmons and Zayvon Collins. So instead of building an offensive line or a good receiving core, shoot, even take a running back at that point. Why do you draft two linebackers?
Mm.
Especially off ball linebackers. That doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean that happens with franchises. Like, for example, Vikings. You would have most likely thought they should go offense and get a couple more pieces last year. They didn't. They never really do. That's just kind of some franchises go. They just fix the holes they need at the draft. So back to Patrick Peterson thing. I totally disagree with it. I really like Patrick Peterson as a football player. I don't really agree with him on a lot of things outside of football. That's a different story. But I mean, he's basically trying to grow his podcast, taking that from what Murray said. But then he clapped back earlier and said, I texted your phone number since you asked me to. I definitely don't think he should have did that. He should have just left it at what it was and just stepped
Yeah,
away from it.
yeah. No, I definitely agree with that statement you just made. He is definitely like I like him a lot better as a football player than in person. I mean, I even listen to K Fan, Dan Barrero. I listen to him talk to Pat P in the afternoon sometimes when I'm out driving around or wherever the heck I'm going. I just randomly turn on K Fan and listen to Dan Barrero talking to Patrick Peterson, and I can kind of see like Pat Pete's egotistical side. I mean, everyone's got an ego, but he's kind of like stingy almost. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's just
Yeah.
it feels so weird. It feels so weird listening to him. I mean, take it as you will. Everyone's got their own personal opinions about people, but I don't know. It's just weird seeing that guy make plays on the football field and then be like, oh, this is actually how he is.
Well, it's weird because I think he's really loved in the Vikings locker room at the same
Oh, I'm
time.
sure he is. I have nothing. I have nothing against him as a person. I just think it's.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's definitely a veteran player.
Yeah.
Like listening to him talk in the radio,
He's
I think.
trying to bring his relevance back because he's not in the elite category anymore.
Yeah, yeah. I do get that like sense when I'm listening to him, listening to them two talk.
But I mean, hey, he's having a really good season this year. I really enjoy watching him play this year. So
Mhm. Yeah, he's been doing good. All right, so what I got here is something I kind of brainstormed while I was driving around last night, listening to the radio. I was thinking about how the Vikings have been playing. and I've kind of found some similarities, and not just the defensive side, but especially the offensive side. I want to talk about how this year's Minnesota Vikings can compare to last year's Los Angeles Rams, and I see a lot of comparisons. Number one, who is the Vikings head coach? Kevin O'Connell. Where did Kevin O'Connell coach last year? The LA Rams. Now, I just want to say I thought it was the perfect decision since Minnesota already ran a similar type of offense that LA did last year. Um, but Kevin took his knowledge from LA and brought it to Minnesota, and he's making the talent just boom. He's brought him to a 9-2 record, and everything's just blown up. Um, a comparison for positions like quarterback, Matt Stafford, Kirk Cousins. I mean, let's be honest, they're aging. They're kind of, I don't want to say they're falling off, but Matt Stafford's not playing that well this year. He was playing good last year. Kirk Cousins, he's doing all right, but eventually, I think we all know his time's coming. Um, Last year, it took 3 running backs to get 1,000 yards in total for Los Angeles. Sony Michel, Daryl Henderson, and Cam Akers. And right now, Dalvin Cook's ranging around, I think, 800. So we'll see if he gets. I'm sure he'll hit that 1,000 marker soon, but there's a little bit of comparison there in the rushing game. Wide receiver wise, the wide receiver rooms for both teams are very stacked. The Rams had Odell Beckham Jr. You could. How would you compare? How would you guys compare Odell to the Vikings? Who would you use to compare? I mean, okay. Here's a better question. Would you compare Justin Jefferson to Odell or Cooper Kupp?
Cooper Cup, and here's why. I watched a lot of Rams football last year. It was just so fun to see Cooper Cup. And I
Mm-hmm.
know this means nothing to anybody, but I was like to Connor, the Vikings need to have Kevin O'Connell be the next coach. I've seen what he's done for Cooper Cup. Justin Jefferson would go insane in this offense. And this was like, I don't know, maybe week 8 last season.
Okay. Yeah.
And he's exceeded even what I expected. So, yeah, that's who I would compare him to.
So you got Justin Jefferson compared to Cooper Kupp, and then you got your number 2 receiver, an aging Odell Beckham Jr. and an aging Adam Thielen. Both two very solid receivers. You could say Odell's a little better, but Adam Thielen's not doing too bad. He's still hanging in there and making plays. And then they have some serviceable wide receivers number 3 and Van Jefferson for the LA Rams, and then for the Vikings they have KJ Osborne. And then at number 2, Tyler Higbee and TJ Hawkinson both have very similar frames. I know they're tight ends, but a lot of the tight ends that are playing now are kind of leanier. More like, I know Kyle Pitts is like one of the kind. He's got a wide receiver type bod, but even George Kittle, he's not that. He looks kind of tall. I wouldn't say he's very big for a tight end. I don't think his arms are or his body doesn't have the type of width that a tight end would need, but I think he's a little skinnier for the tight ends nowadays, especially compared to Travis Kelce. On the defensive side, I want to talk about the defensive line. For the Rams, they had Von Miller and Aaron Donald. For the Vikings this year, they have Daniil Hunter and Zadarius Smith. All right. One more comparison I want to make between these two teams is the safety position. I want to compare. I know Eric Weddle was signed like right before the playoffs or the Super Bowl. I can't remember, but I want to compare him to Harrison Smith. They're aging players. Well, Eric Weddle's already retired or announced his retirement right after the Super Bowl. But they were still pretty good playmakers, and even Harrison Smith is making plays out there, hitting people hard. Yeah, that's my last comparison.
Yeah, I mean, I think I see a lot of similarities. to the fact that they're pretty much playing the same. Vikings have gotten pretty favorable matches to
Mm-hmm.
just win those extra games. So if you look at it, they could probably be listed as whatever the Rams' record was at this point in the season. And they lost to Green Bay, which I thought they should have won. And then from that point on, I kind of saw that as a downfall. And they did, I think they lost maybe one or two after that. But then they just played it out in the playoffs. Nothing too crazy, but then they won the entire thing. I could definitely see the Vikings season end the same way.
Really?
Yeah.
I could too. Mostly why I'm making this comparison. Here's another good little history. Sean McVay was in Washington as offensive coordinator while Kirk Cousins was there. And
Yeah, they
I'm sure,
actually
with it was with Kyle Shanahan, right? Too, or was he
I'm
gone?
not sure.
I can't remember.
It was actually there were discussions of them trading for Kirk Cousins too, on top of Stafford if they didn't get him, something in that
Oh,
range.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, the Vikings with Goff.
Yeah.
We'd be crying right now. We wouldn't be watching Vikings football.
We'd be the Lions.
Yeah. Hey, we'd actually have all those draft picks though, so I mean that
Yeah.
wouldn't be too bad. And I mean the quarterback draft is kind of stacked this upcoming year, so that'll be nice. Or
Yeah.
would be nice. Alrighty. So hashtag booming. My source, Undercovered NFL on Instagram, newly official NFL PA source of the NFL. Former NFL wide receiver Antonio Brown has a warrant out for his arrest in Hillsborough. I don't want to butcher that name. I don't know, Hillsborough. I don't know. County, Florida. And this warrant was issued earlier tonight, which was last night, for a domestic violence charge against Antonio Brown. So now that he's out of football, I think it's safe to say he's losing his mind by doing all this weird stuff through social media, and now he's getting on public and making headlines doing criminal activity. What do you think is going to happen to him?
Well, first off, I heard that he wouldn't come out of his home. He was in a standoff with police.
What?
But
When was this?
A few hours ago. So he's currently in a standoff. I don't know what's going on right now, but this will be in the morning, so
he ain't getting out of jail.
For a while there, he was right about some things. Like he left the Raiders, he left the Steelers, and all those teams kind of just went south. And who knows, he could be right about some other things, but man.
I understand, like, the right and wrongs and your personal opinions and what you think is right for your own safety and health and your teammates and whatnot, but it's football. Come on. This is the NFL. I know all the players are here to make money and stuff like that, but, like, especially if your career's, like, aging, like a player like he was, just play the game. I mean, he got the Super Bowl, yeah, that's all he needed, but I don't know. The way he went out in his last game, that was uncalled for.
Did we know if he got any more offers to come back? I felt like he got a few.
I doubt it.
I felt like he got a few.
Why? Okay. Why would you, Connor? Could you sign Antonio Brown after seeing what he did?
I don't think I could justify it at all. No.
Okay. Well, if you think that, I'm definitely not thinking that.
I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying I swear I remember hearing he got an offer.
If you think that, I'm definitely thinking that too. I'm sorry. I completely screwed that up.
So I guess this would We already do clown of the week, or is this clown of the week extended?
Yeah, our clown of the week is Antonio Clown. Hopefully nothing bad happens in this situation. And football. Yeah. We'll see you guys next time. Check out our streaming. Yeah, anywhere you can find it. See ya.